Hi, my name is Cameron McAvoy, and this is my third assessment task for EDPM202 in spring 2021. In this video, I'll explore the relationship between the elements of the grammar of games and the transferability between two movement contexts. So we are firstly going to look at some of the communication that happens within both of these contexts. So communication is the range of cues that are both verbal and non-verbal that assist players in executing appropriate responses within gameplay. So as I replay those videos, you can see communication demonstrated by non-verbal cues such as the defender pointing and giving directions to teammates about who they are defending. It can also be seen when Greg has his hands outstretched, showing his teammates he is ready to receive the pass. It can also be seen in the body language of the player in the volleyball game as he rolls towards the net. His body language shows his teammates where he wants the ball.
So we are next going to look at the concentration component. This can be defined as a player's ability to devote attention to the relevant cues in gameplay, specifically in relation to what is important and what is not. I am now going to show a clip of concentration in action and we'll discuss afterwards.
So as I replay the clip, we can observe the connection between communication and concentration, as the player uses non-verbal cues to ask for the ball. You can see that when she has her hands up and she points in the direction that she wants the ball. As she moves towards half court, however, you can see her eyes dart behind her and then forwards away from the ball. This could be an example of her attentional demand being exhausted as her pool of resources is used. This resulted in an influence of her movement skill as she dropped the ball off a bad pass. We are now going to explore the decision-making component of the grammar of games model. Decision-making are the decisions that occur within gameplay that can occur on an individual or team level. Within the context of the videos, I'll explore how decision-making is represented and draw some connections between both contexts. I will now show clips relating to the element of the model and will analyse them after we view them.
So as we rewatch these videos, I would like to make reference to the aspect of force ratio in decision making. Within each of these clips, students make decisions about where to pass or strike the ball based on where the weakness in the defence is in regards to numbers. In the first clip, the team makes a decision to throw a long pass on a fast break. They do this because they have a 1-0 numerical advantage ratio, attackers to defenders. In the second clip, Greg throws a lead entry pass to the attacker in the goal mouth. This passing is an example of force ratio in decision making, as the pass understood that they had a 1-0 numerical advantage, leading to the pass and the score. Finally, in the last video, the attacking player places the shot over the net in between all three defenders. He uses the ball as an attacker and understanding the place where the attacking team had an advantage to score. Okay, so now that we have looked at force ratio, I want to explore the concept of decision making through the lens of a collective team strategy. In the following clip from the Old Bloke video, you can see the defensive strategy of the red team. As the yellow team progress the ball up the floor, the red team back off and let the ball carrier cart it forward. They do not attempt to tag in the attacking half. Each player makes decisions about leaving a man defense and they move into a compressed zone defense. They compress together in two groups of three in an attempt to crowd the goal mouth. This is shown as the defenders continue to back off and get tight together to make entry passes more challenging for the attacking team. This is an attempt to lead to less scores. So I now wish to switch the focus on to strategy and tactics. This can be defined as the plans and decisions relating to potential play actions that may occur with or without possession. Through the following clips, I'll examine some of the key aspects of strategy and tactics and how they relate to a whole and sub-team levels. Strategy and tactics is a wide topic, so I've decided to focus on the key elements of play action, these being mobility and deception. I've decided on these because I think that they are very, very clear within the clips, and I will analyse them when we return. So as those videos replay, I'm going to speak about strategy and tactics and how they are conveyed within the videos. In the first video, we have the yellow team receiving possession of the ball, and the ball carrier starts making a run down the right corridor. You can see as he runs, a teammate runs alongside him, creating a fast break. This falls under the idea of mobility. As the team has a strategy to attack quickly when they gain possession, the lead runner creates a passing opportunity for the ball carrier, and thus creates more numbers for the attacking team in relation to defenders. This is an attempt to break down the sense of equality of numbers between attackers and defenders. In the second video, a player rolls towards the net for a strike and instead taps the ball lightly over the net. This is an example of deception, as the player has hit the ball hard and far for the majority of the game. He reads this, and as he winds up for a big shot, he instead surprises the defending team with a shallow strike of the ball. So the final aspect of the grammar of games is movement skill. This can be defined as the specific skills needed to move in gameplay. Movement skill is shown in both contexts as players use locomotor skills, such as running, manipulative skills, such as passing and striking the ball, and non-manipulative skills, such as bending. This conveys the idea of a concept-to-context approach, as the key concepts of movement skills have an element of transferability into different contexts. For example, catching is used within both of these contexts, even though they are different sports. So I'll put these two clips in just to show that within the two different contexts, we have a similar skill, such as catching. So that shows how movement skills do have transferability into different contexts. The grammar of games framework is an organic interconnected model, meaning each element has an influence on each other. As we have now viewed each element in isolation, I will now provide some screenshots from each game and explore how these elements move together to shape movement experiences for athletes. This idea of a concept-to-context approach from De Vries gives observers an opportunity to explore similar concepts in a range of contexts, meaning we can view and draw out information from these games in a similar way through the lens of the grammar of games. So our first screenshot is taken from the field territory invasion context. I would firstly like to outline the non-verbal communication from Greg, as he puts his hands in the air, giving the ball carrier a cue that he wants the ball. He is using positioning to place himself between the defenders and the ball, creating a passing lane. Greg uses communication through movement skills, with the underlying principles of decision making. Another aspect of this play is the configuration of the defense. The defenders work on a sub-team level to create a 3-up, 3-down defensive structure. This manages the numbers by compressing the goal mouth. As you can see, defenders use mobility to press two defenders onto one attacker, who is Greg. Defenders position themselves in a close formation, conveying the underlying principle of competency, as they understand what the team needs and how they as individuals and sub-teams can influence the game. Another example of communication is the yellow player on the furthest left, who points to the middle corridor, alerting the ball carrier of an open teammate. This relates to the wider collective strategy of the team, of increasing covered play space and creating greater opportunities to score the ball. In our next screenshot, we're going to look at the same context. In the screenshot, the red team is in possession, starting a fast break. As the ball carrier cuts the ball forward, he reads the yellow defenders moving slowly towards their own goal. He uses his movement skills to run with the ball and take advantage of the opportunity created by the yellow team being too far up the floor. As he carries the ball forward, you can see Greg with his head turned away from the ball, not noticing the player moving towards the goal. This creates an opportunity, through his attentional demand possibly being exhausted, or possibly by his attentional focus, as he is focused on the non-important aspects off the floor. As the ball advances, the deepest yellow player drops back to protect their goal, reflecting the strategy of the team. His eyes track back towards the ball, underlying his ability to read the play and take a small focus on the key aspects of the game. The player on the right of the ball runner uses his movement skills to run forwards and create mobility by giving the attacking team more numbers in relation to defenders, with the intent of creating an opportunity for an overlap. So for our third screenshot, we're going to look at the net wall court context. So as the attacking player attempts to strike the ball over the net, the defensive player reads the play and leaps up to contest the shot at the net. He is the tallest player on his team, thus he understands his role in relation to the strategy of the team and uses the movement skill of leaping to contest the ball. The defensive team works on a sub-team level to create a formation that is right side dominant. This shows their ability to use cognitive mapping to read that the striking player is right-handed and is most likely going to place the ball on the right side of the court. They use the numbers to create a better opportunity to catch and return the ball. Another key element is the attacking player on the furthest right. She is out of the play due to the primary rules of the game. This creates an opportunity for the defensive team to return the ball into wider spaces. She reads this and postures herself to re-engage quickly back into the game. We are next going to look at the same context. In this play, you can see the attacking player is striking the ball. You can see the attacking player tap the ball in between the three defenders as he reads the defensive player is running towards the net. This creates an opportunity to use manipulative skills to tap the ball over the head of the defender into space in between the three defenders. This shows the relationship between decision making and the overarching strategies of the team. Another element is the attacking player closest to the net using non-verbal cues to convey the idea that the ball is about to be hit over the net, as it is the third possession. This relates to the primary rules of the game. She moves towards the net to adhere to the collective strategy of the team by defending against a shallow return from the defensive team. In our final screenshot, we are looking at the attacking team in yellow attempting to score the ball. As the ball is thrown towards the yellow attacking player, we can see two red defenders converge onto her. She drops the ball. This can underline how concentration was taken off the ball onto the defenders, leading to a decrease in her movement skill performance. It can also underline how her safe spaces were invaded, leading to the player feeling worried, leading to a reduction in her ability to perform the movement skill. Offensive teams use a spread formation to increase the covered play space. This leads to the attacking team having an increased chance to move the ball and use movement skills in space to score. This is juxtaposed by the defensive team, using a tight defensive configuration to achieve the defensive strategy of covering the goal with defenders. This collective strategy aims to highly pressure ball handlers and create an opportunity for turnovers.
Through each of these screenshots, we can draw some connections between the two contexts through the interacting elements of the grammar of games. Observers can build an understanding of the how and why components of movement context by building an understanding of gameplay through the lens of the grammar of games. Through these contexts, we can see how each of the elements work collaboratively to create movement experiences and shape the way students engage in a vast variety of contexts.
I'd like to take the time to thank you for listening to this presentation, and I will leave you with my reference list.